channel. If you are new to my videos, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Today I am bringing you 10 of my favorite must-have kitchen tools for weight loss surgery patients. If this is a video you think you would like to see, just keep watching.
I've tried, written down the words to say, it is time. I've been waiting 5 days to explain how you make me feel inside. Baby, got it all figured
Yes guys, I am bringing you today my 10 must-have kitchen tools for weight loss surgery patients. Of course, our top 10 is going to vary from person to person, but this is my particular preference. These are things that I felt have helped me the most, especially in the beginning when I was getting through those first critical weeks of weight loss surgery. Hopefully these tools will be a benefit to you as well, especially if you are pre-op and you are kind of in that stage of gathering all of the goodies that you will need after your surgery. And as always, everything that I mentioned in the video today will be linked down below for you to check out for yourself if you have interest in purchasing one of these items. And all of these links will be Amazon links because that is basically where I picked up all of these items. I love Amazon, and I know a lot of you do too. All right, let's jump in. An electric tea kettle. Why do I need an electric tea kettle? Because it's electric and it's super fast. And this one in particular, I'm loving. I was actually sent this by the company for a review, and it's amazing. I love it. It has this amazing handle on it. It's just so ergonomically friendly. It has this little hot plate here on the bottom. Just plugs up, and as you can see, the cord does roll underneath it, which is an amazing thing. I hate cords when they just laying all over the counter, right? And then as you can see on the bottom, it just sits right down on this pad very easily. The top just slides up like this. Super easy to use. Very functional. This one is a 1500 watt quick boil. It does have controls here on the handle. There are 6 different settings. This one has a 3-year warranty. It has a filter. This one has a limestone washable filter. So how amazing is that? It does have the measurements clearly marked here on the glass container, and it is a 10-cup pitcher. If you're like me, you probably already have a Keurig or some sort of coffee maker where you can already get hot water. But the reason I like this was because I was working when I first had surgery, and when I went back to work, it was a huge, huge, huge tool for me to keep my liquids hot. You know, in the beginning, you're drinking a lot of broths and protein and things that have to be hot, especially the Undri, chicken flavor Undri, that I highly recommend for anybody to have on hand during your liquid diets. The Undri has to be to a certain temperature. This gets it just right. I was able to get that Undri made a lot quicker with this than actually boiling water on the stove. A regular tea kettle takes so much longer to heat up than one of these puppies. But my plan for this puppy, when we get into our new home, I'm going to use this in my office because I am going to have a room that is a dedicated office. This will be sitting in there because if you follow me over on my other channel, you know that I love tea. And you can actually keep the water hot as well because it will sit here on the little hot plate. I'm calling it a hot plate. I don't know what the technical term for it is, but it will sit here and it will keep the water warm for you. So that part is amazing too. You can't get that with a regular tea kettle. Meal prep containers. I have all shapes and sizes, but I only pulled out the ones that I felt were the most beneficial to me. These are 2-compartment meal prep containers. They do have, of course, the compartment portion of the container and then the lids as well. They are microwavable and BPA free. And I use these for meal prep, as I mentioned. So when I am creating dinners that I want to be able to just warm up or pull out of the freezer for another day, this is what I use. I have a couple of these as well. I really like these because they have the flip top lids on them that has the little rubber seal inside, so it really keeps things airtight. And I like these in particular for like fresh fruit and raw vegetables. These work out really good. It's a perfect size for those. These are probably my most recent purchase because I'm trying to transition from a lot of plastic into glass containers. These are not the only ones that I have. I bought a huge set of them. They're all sorts of shapes and sizes. However, these are the two that I use the most, and probably because they are the smallest. But I love these. And yes, the lids are sort of a plastic, but you're having less plastic because the actual bowl part is glass. And not only that, but it's so see-through, you know what's inside, and it's glass, so it's very durable. You can wash it, you can dishwash it, you can microwave it, and you can use them for regular dishes or serving bowls too because of the glass, and they just look really good. So these are probably my most favorite out of all of them. Unfortunately, I don't have any right now. I usually keep them on hand, but I'm out, and they are these little tiny 2-ounce plastic condiment containers, and they have lids on them. These were super nice to have on hand in the very beginning. One, because they only held 2 ounces of food in the beginning. That is your meal. Yes, believe it or not, that is your meal. So your little meal is in one of these little bitty containers, and it was just super easy to measure everything out, such as 2 ounces of yogurt, 2 ounces of pudding, 2 ounces of that ricotta bake we all love, and it fits perfectly in these little containers. I just pop them in a little basket and put them in my fridge, and then anytime I was ready to have a meal, I just went and grabbed one, and I was good to go. That's probably the one I would recommend you start with the most. And the others can kind of come along as you progress into your different food stages. And of course, with me being almost 3 years post-op, the bigger ones are more up my alley now. But those are great, not just for your 2-ounce meals that you'll be having in the beginning when you're on the purees and the soft foods, but they're also good for condiments too. They're really good to use for portion sizing too, like for things that you need to really scale down on, like nuts, dried fruits, those kinds of things that you'll be eating way down the road from the very beginning. Measuring cups and measuring spoons. These are so important to make sure that you are getting the correct serving sizes, especially when you are first moving through all of those food stages, because your ounces will change every month or so. And it's important that we are measuring our foods, especially in the very beginning. I would say up into your first year especially. I still like to do it every now and then just to make sure that I'm eyeballing correctly. But that first year, it is so important to measure your foods every single time. Every single time. Every single time. Can I say that enough? Every single time. As you know, there are different types of measuring cups, and you probably already have a lot of these in your kitchen arsenal, but here's a 2-cup, and I like the glass, by the way, for the liquid ones. And then of course there is a 1-cup version, and this is the one I really need to point out to you. This is also a liquid measuring cup, and this one in particular is by Anchor. I've had 2 or 3 of these, and this is the only one that I've ended up not breaking. I especially like this one because it has all the different types of measurements on it. This one has the milliliters, it has tablespoons, it has teaspoons, and it has ounces. And the ounces in particular are so important in the very beginning. If you're pre-op, you need one of these. This was like one of my very favorite tools, like the first 2 or 3 weeks of post-op surgery. This is just an amazing thing to have on hand to measure out your liquids, especially. You're gonna be drinking, like, what is it? It was so long ago, I can't remember. Maybe an ounce like every 10 minutes or something, I can't remember. And everybody's probably a little bit different, but it's something along those lines. Highly recommend that you have one of these on hand, especially in the very beginning. If you're pre-op, grab one of these. You'll thank me later. And then of course there are the dry measuring cups, measuring spoons, and all that good stuff. And they even come in collapsible ones if you want to take them on the road with you, if you want to take them to restaurants, or if you want to take them to work and you are limited in space. Those are really good to have as well. a food scale. This is the one that I am using right now. However, there is another one that I came across on Amazon that I have my eye on, and I will make sure to link them both below for you in case you want to check out the other one. But this is super important. You must have a good workable food scale. You want one that's very easy to read and very easy to use, and I found that this one is, and I like the look of this one, and it has the glass lid on it, so if I spill anything, it's just easy to clean. Gotta have one of these. If you're pre-op and you don't have a food scale, get one, and get one now. Gotta have one of these. So important to make sure that you are eating the correct amount. When you're a month out, you may be only eating 2 ounces of meal, like I mentioned before. When you're 4 months out, it may be 4 or 5 ounces, and so on and so forth. My limit is 6 ounces. To this day, almost 3 years post-op, it's still 6 ounces. I have to admit that I haven't been weighing lately, and I really need to get back into it. But I was religiously weighing my food every single meal, other than when I would go to a restaurant. I tried to eyeball it. In the beginning, that's harder to do, but you still want to occasionally go back and measure to make sure that your eyeball and the scale are kind of still meeting on the same page. The one that I have my eye on has nutrition facts on it. So yeah, if one of you guys grabbed that from my link below, let us know in the comments what you thought of it and how that worked out, because I'm really excited for that one. I'm gonna grab that soon. I highly recommend that you have a blender and a food processor, or at least one or the other. I particularly used my blender a whole lot more than my food processor. When you are in the puree stage or the soft food stages, you may need a food processor to help you kind of break those foods up into a softer form, or a blender. The blender can do that too to an extent. However, I use my blender for making protein shakes. And I particularly have the Vitamix. I don't have it right here with me. It's actually in the storage closet over there. It's all boxed up. I only brought it in case I decided to have a smoothie or make a protein shake. So every time I make one, I end up just washing it and putting it back in the storage closet, because as I mentioned, we are limited on space and I don't have room for it right now, because it's not something that I use on a daily basis. But in the beginning, I did use it almost on a daily basis. The Vitamix was something that I wanted. I did a lot of research, and I found that everybody that ever had one of those recommended it. I did not find one person that owned one that said they didn't like it. And the Vitamix seemed to last years and years and years. People were handing these things down to their children and their grandchildren because they were so durable. So that's why I chose the Vitamix. They are a little pricey, but to put my money into something that I'm never gonna have to buy again, because I can't tell you the number of blenders I have bought in the past before I bought my Vitamix. I would go through a blender a year, because I always got the cheap ones and they never lasted. I burned the motor up in them every year. I needed one that was really super durable and that has an amazing warranty as well, like the Vitamix does. So that was my blender of choice, and I can't say enough, they're just amazing. But if you choose a different blender, you know, your wallet might not be able to support a Vitamix right now. If you choose a different blender, that's fine. Just know that you do need something on hand for those protein shakes and smoothies that you may be making. And in the beginning, you drink so many of them, you get tired and you need a variety. So it's good to have something like that on hand so that you can mix and match up your flavors. So highly recommend both of those. If you can't have both, blender and food processor, I'd say blender, because you can use it more than the food processor. You'll only be having soft foods and purees for a limited amount of time. So one over the other, pick the blender. Next is a blender bottle, and I searched my cabinets high and low and could not find my blender bottle. I don't know if my husband has it or where it is, but these are amazing as well, on the go, especially if you are someone who works outside the home, or if you're someone who works out a lot, you go to a gym. It's amazing to have one of these on hand. It has the little whisk ball that goes inside of it. Put your drinks in there, put your protein powder, you just shake it up and you are good to go. It has a little spout, you can pop a straw in there if you're someone who drinks from a straw. I know a lot of us don't do that, some of us do. So that is an amazing on-the-go blender option. Highly recommend you have a couple of those on hand as well, and they come in some amazing colors. I particularly like the blender bottle because of their little whisk that their little patent on their whisk. I don't know, I just like it the best. So, and their lids always are secure. Just make sure that you get that little part that pops up out of the mouth spout. Make sure that you get that good and snapped into place before you start shaking. Learned that the hard way. Next, guys, is tumblers. I highly recommend a variety of tumblers, both cold and hot versions. And a lot of them will do both. This one in particular is a Yeti, and I absolutely love my Yeti. I think this one's a 24 ounce. I'm not positive. I'll have the information below for you. But it does have this little slidey thing right here on the top where you can keep it closed if you want. And then I just had them engrave my initials in it. And there was a company I found on Amazon that did that. And then I just picked out which cup I wanted. They do this size, they do the 30 ounce ones. I love the 30 ounce ones, and I actually have, I don't know how many of those guys, but they're all dirty. That tells you how much I use them. I typically go through 2 of those a day. I'll have like my protein shake in one, and I'll have my water or beverage of choice in the other. So I'm going through 2 of those a day, and right now they're dirty because I have chosen not to do my dishes. Not lazy. I chose not to do my dishes. Hi, Erica. Anywho, and this one is a Contigo brand, and I really like these to keep things hot. Like I mentioned before, you will be drinking probably a lot of hot and warm liquids, especially in the beginning, like your protein bras and your teas and those kinds of things. And these will keep your drinks hot and cold for hours because they are metal. They are double walled. They don't lie when they say they keep them cold and hot for hours. They don't lie. They might be off a smidge, but they don't lie. They're really good. And this one in particular I like because it fits really well into my car cup holder. It has this little rubber grip here on it, so I'm able to hold on to it well. It doesn't condensate, so that's important. And then it just has this screw off lid on it with a little spout that flips up and down, and it stays secure. I really like that. So when you're driving, you don't have to worry about spills. You can only drink out of it when you lift this up, and typically it will fall down by itself, but you can snap it in place as well. I love this one. I have 2 or 3 Contigos, but this one is my favorite. I found these very important when I went back to work after my surgery, because you get so busy and you get so focused on your tasks that you forget to drink, and your drinks will get hot or they will get cold, vice versa, or what they should be, right? My next recommendation is a vacuum sealer. This is also something that is in that closet, and it's like in the very back where I can't get to it without killing myself. The reason I recommend this is because we do eat so little. I found that I was wasting a lot of food, especially in the beginning. Like I would go out and buy a 4-pack chicken breast, which is what I was used to buying, and found that, you know, I could only eat a couple ounces at a time. So I was wasting so much food. Once I got the vacuum sealer, that helped so much with that, because I could cut my chicken breasts up into 2-ounce portions or 4-ounce portions, and then I could put them into a vacuum sealed bag, pop it in the fridge, pop it in the freezer. It saved so much waste of food for me. It was incredible. And that was something I really struggled with in the beginning. So I do recommend a vacuum sealer. It's not something that is like high on my priority list, but I do recommend one. And they're great for sous vides too, if you are someone who cooks with a sous vide. A vacuum sealer is a lifesaver when it comes to that, and I love my sous vide as well, but that's not on this list. Next item on my list of recommendations is a slow cooker and or a pressure cooker. This is just something that helps to help you in the kitchen to prepare meals with, if it's not something that you already have. If you were to pick one over the other, I would actually probably suggest the pressure cooker. I've had mine about 1.5 years, I would say, and I absolutely love it. I hardly ever use my slow cooker anymore. And as a matter of fact, the particular pressure cooker that I have has a slow cooker feature on it. Don't be afraid of a pressure cooker. I know I was always afraid of them, but now, you know, there's the whole craze with Instapot. They're so easy and simple to use, and there's nothing to be afraid of. I really did not understand that until I got mine and started using it. But there's really nothing to be afraid of, especially with a electric one. I don't know about the old-fashioned ones that go on the stovetop. I've heard horror stories about those, but the electric ones, there's really nothing to be afraid of. The only thing you really have to be afraid of is scalding yourself. So just protect your hands when you're letting the pressure out. That's the only thing you really need to be afraid of. But they are great to prepare meals, especially quickly. Like you might take 8 hours to slow cook a pot of chili. You can do it in a pressure cooker for under 2. So it's an amazing machine. It will save you so much time. Check out a pressure cooker, and it will help you to meal prep too. So take a batch of chili, for example. Yeah, or beans, anything like that, legumes, anything like that that you're making and you're making a big batch of. Pressure cooker is an amazing, amazing machine. The last item that I have on my top 10 must-have kitchen tools for weight loss surgery patients is portion control plates and gadgets. Yeah, so we all hear that we should use a tiny plate. Tiny plate, tiny utensils, tiny dishes, right? There are so many amazing portion control gadgets out there for us weight loss surgery patients that are so helpful. In the very beginning, I use them all the time. I have a little nut portion control container. I have a salad dressing portion control squirty thing. And there are plates out there that have the little circles on them. And the utensils, as I showed you before, there's actually sets out there that have the spoons, the forks, the knives, and there are cups out there. There are so many things out there to help you keep your portions in control. And I probably should actually look into more of those for myself now that I'm almost 3 years post-op. I think that would be helpful to me now. And it's so important to us as weight loss surgery patients to watch our portion sizes. Our tummies don't always tell us when we've had enough, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And let us know in the comments below some of your must-have kitchen tools as a weight loss surgery patient. I'm sure that a lot of my audience would love to have more of these tips from you guys as well. So let's share them with each other in the comments below. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I plan to do lots more videos like this for you guys. I really enjoy doing these. And don't forget to hit me up in the comments below with some inspiring videos that you would like to see me do. If you have a particular question that I can cover in a video, be sure to drop it below and I'll consider doing that for you. All right, guys, we will see you on the flip side.